Hey there, it's Monkey. I want to talk about food outposts, and particularly I want to look at the subtle mechanics of food outpost production and food consumption that I think may impact your view of food outposts and how they fit into your overall strategy for State of Decay 2. Now, this is going to be most impactful on Nightmare difficulty, still pretty significant on Lethal, but I'm going to touch on all the difficulties just so we can, be complete. If you find this helpful or informative, please tap the like button down below and I'll be sure to make more content like this. Now, food outposts are distinct from other resource outposts in that they scale based off of difficulty. Let's just get Green Zone out of the way first so we don't have to talk about it again. In Green Zone, your survivors eat half as much food a day, and all of your food production, whether it's outposts or base facilities, is increased by 50% a day. Food in Green Zone should be probably one of the least of your concerns. So let's just not talk about that difficulty anymore. Now, on Standard and Dread, your survivors are going to eat one food each per day. And a food outpost is going to produce one food per level of the outpost per day. That's the baseline default, for both of those difficulties. On Nightmare and Lethal, these numbers are increased by 50 and 100% respectively. So on Nightmare, you've got 1.5 food eaten and produced by each outpost level, and on Lethal, it's 2 eaten and produced. The production boost that I'm referring to here applies only to food outposts. Does not apply to base facilities like the garden, etc. And it also doesn't apply to any other resource outposts, only food outposts. Now on top of this, we've got some weird math. There's, I'm going to use, as an example, I'm going to basically just pull from Nightmare for 2 reasons. One, Nightmare has more baked in mechanical nuance than any of the other difficulties. And you run into it whether you realize it or not, right from the start of the game. And 2, once you understand these mechanics, you can apply them whether you're up in Lethal or down in a lower difficulty at that point. So the example that I'm going to use right now is already on the screen behind me. We're going to look at food up here. And if you just take a look at this total here that I've circled, I have 3 survivors, each eating 1.5 food a day. I'm on Nightmare difficulty. So that's minus 4.5 food per day. Now I have 2 level 1 outposts. They're each producing 1.5 food per day. Now, if you do the simple math on that, you're going to have, 3 food coming in and 4.5 food going out. I should be losing 1.5 food a day. But if you look over here, you'll see that I only have minus 0 food a day. So I'm not losing any food. The reason why this happens is rounding. All the numbers over here on this side get rounded first before they get added together. That's why it's sitting over here at minus 0 food a day, even though your eyeballs will tell you that I should be losing 1.5 food per day. Each of the positive modifiers, so the ones in green, are going to round up. And the negative modifier, the one in red, is going to round down. So if you were to take 4 minus 4, right, and a positive 2 and a positive 2, that works out to be 0. Does that mean if I go out and get rid of my artillery outpost and pick up a 3rd food outpost, that I'll wind up with a total of plus 2 food per day, even though it will look like I should be at 0 food a day? Yes, that's exactly what it means. Obviously, the numbers are going to change further once you start taking into account quirks on players or things like meal plan and whatnot. Some of these benefits you will be able to take advantage of in Lethal. You won't be able to take advantage of this extra sort of rounding that happens on food outposts individually, but the survivors eating, rounding, and stuff like that, you can take advantage of on any difficulty, really. Also note that what this means from a practical standpoint is that when you are upgrading your food outposts in Nightmare, you may find the numbers bounce around a little bit. You go from a level 1 outpost giving you 2 food to a level 2 outpost giving you 3 food to a level 3 outpost giving you 5 food. So level 1 and level 3 gets you the extra half of food. Level 2 gets you the number that you would read on the screen. Overall, regardless of rounding, food outposts in Nightmare and Lethal are far more competitive compared to base facilities than they are in lower difficulties, and that's just by virtue of food outposts scaling with difficulty and the base facilities not scaling. We could do a cost analysis in a different video if there's interest, but I think for this video we're just going to keep it high level. This does not mean that you should never build base facilities on Nightmare or Lethal. There's way too many factors. There's map, the base you're in, the leader you have, the resources you have available, and your particular playstyle. All of those things and more should factor into your base and outpost strategy. Food outpost scaling and rounding are just 2 more things I think are important to keep in mind. I hope you found this useful. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. There's a monkey down there in the corner if you haven't subscribed yet. And I'll see you next time. Take care.